Most people believe the first European settlement in America began in Virginia, or maybe up north in Massachusetts. But here's a surprise. The very first attempt to build a European home in the New World happened right here, in what we now call South Carolina. It was the year 1526. A Spanish explorer named Lucas Vasquez de Ayllón led a group of settlers to a quiet stretch of coastline. They built homes, planted crops, and brought with them the first enslaved Africans ever recorded in North America. The settlement failed within weeks. Disease, hunger, and storms sent them fleeing. But the story stayed buried for centuries, under soil, silence, and time. This is South Carolina. A land full of mystery, memory, and incredible beauty. Where old oak trees draped in Spanish moss still stand like guardians of forgotten stories. Where soft winds carry the scent of salt from the marshes, and time seems to move just a little slower. So, how did this peaceful place become the quiet starting point of American history? And what other secrets lie hidden beneath its sunlit charm? Stay with me, and you might wonder why no one ever told you this before. Murrells Inlet is a small town on the coast of South Carolina, known for its beautiful marshes and great seafood. Long ago, it was a simple fishing village and even a hideout for the pirate Blackbeard. Today, it's a peaceful spot where visitors come to enjoy nature and fresh fish. The area has been home to people for thousands of years, starting with Native American tribes like the Waccamaw. These early peoples left behind shell mounds and burial sites, showing how much they valued this land. In the 1700s, European settlers began farming here, growing crops like indigo and rice on large plantations. Some of these plantations still have historic buildings and stories connected to families who lived here long ago. Murrells Inlet grew slowly through the years and became a favorite place for hunters and nature lovers in the early 1900s. A famous artist couple, the Huntingtons, made their home nearby and helped preserve the natural beauty of the area. The town is surrounded by rivers and creeks, making it a perfect place for boating and fishing. Now, before we move on to the next destination, here's a fun question for you. Which tree is a symbol of South Carolina? Comment your guess. Lake Hartwell is a big man-made lake that sits on the border between Georgia and South Carolina. It was made by damming the Savannah River, where two other rivers, the Tougaloo and Seneca, come together. This lake is one of the largest in the Southeast, with almost 56,000 acres of water and nearly 1,000 miles of shoreline. The lake was created in the early 1960s when the Hartwell Dam was built. It's a huge dam, over 2 miles long, and it changed the land a lot. Some roads and bridges had to be moved to make way for the lake. Lake Hartwell is named after Nancy Hart, a brave woman from the Revolutionary War who lived nearby and was known for standing up for her home. Fishing is popular at the lake, especially for striped bass. These fish usually live in the ocean but have adapted well to life in Lake Hartwell. Folly Beach is famously called the Edge of America because it marks the easternmost point of the continental United States, where the Atlantic Ocean meets sandy shores. Stretching along 6 miles of Barrier Island, this coastal city offers a dynamic environment shaped by ocean currents, marshlands, and wildlife habitats. Surfers flock here to ride some of the most consistent waves on the East Coast. The beach supports a vibrant ecosystem, including migrating North Atlantic right whales that pass close offshore during seasonal migrations. Center Street, the heart of the town, hums with local shops, seafood restaurants, and a laid-back community atmosphere that blends beach culture with southern charm. Historically, Folly Beach has significance with sites listed on the National Register, connecting it to events dating back to the Civil War era. The marshes and islands around the beach are crucial breeding grounds for fish and birds, making it a haven for nature enthusiasts and photographers. Despite its small population, the city maintains a strong identity focused on conservation, recreation, and welcoming visitors year-round. If you are watching this, please click the subscribe button in the corner of the screen. It's completely free, but means a lot to us. Did you know that beneath the peaceful waters of Lake Keowee lies a forgotten world of ancient towns and rich stories? This lake, created in the early 1970s by building two massive dams, flooded lands that once belonged to thriving Cherokee communities and colonial settlements. The name Keowee comes from the Cherokee language, meaning place of the mulberries. Lake Keowee was designed not just for recreation but also to provide cooling water for nuclear reactors and to generate hydroelectric power. During the American Revolutionary War, the Cherokee people here faced devastating battles and were forced to give up most of their ancestral lands after a series of harsh treaties. Lake Keowee stands as a symbol of change, blending modern energy needs with a powerful history. Kiawah Island is named after the Native American tribe that once lived here, and their leader helped early English settlers find land. Kiawah Island's quiet shores hide a rich history dating back to the 1600s. when the Kiawah tribe's cacique guided English settlers to nearby Charleston. The island later became the property of a former pirate-turned-planter, showing how adventurous and settled lives collided here. Before the Civil War, Kiawah's wide pastures supported cattle farming, a peaceful rural life contrasting with the turmoil of the era. The Vanderhorst family, prominent owners of half the island, rebuilt their estate after Revolutionary War fires and managed the land through challenging times. Freed African Americans worked the island after the war, helping revive agriculture in a changing South. Today, Kiawah blends natural beauty with historical depth, offering visitors a glimpse into early American colonial life and its legacies. This small, quiet island once held the weight of an entire people's sorrow. Sullivan's Island was the primary port of entry for 40 to 50% of the 400,000 enslaved Africans brought to colonial America. In the 1700s, ships arrived at this barrier island before docking in Charleston, offloading human cargo into quarantine facilities. They were held in small wooden buildings near the shore, waiting for a future they could not choose. They were treated not as people, but as goods, evaluated for strength, age, and health before being sold inland. Unlike Ellis Island, no official records were kept, and no monuments marked this massive point of arrival. For over 2 centuries, the story of Sullivan's Island as America's largest slave port was largely unacknowledged. In 2008, author Toni Morrison helped dedicate a small bench here as a symbol of remembrance, a quiet gesture toward a long-ignored truth. Standing on these shores today is to face a foundational chapter of American history, not in textbooks, but in the sand itself. Myrtle Beach is a stretch of coastline that was once quiet wilderness, but has transformed into one of America's busiest beach destinations. Myrtle Beach's story begins long before tourists arrived, tracing back to the Waccamaw people who once lived and fished along these shores. European settlers appeared in the late 1700s, but the sandy soil proved tough for farming, limiting early growth. For decades, only a handful of families like the Withers called this area home, battling hurricanes and isolation. In 1822, a violent storm claimed many lives and pushed the Withers family away, leaving the land wild once more. It wasn't until the late 19th century that entrepreneurs like Franklin Burroughs saw potential in the untouched coastline. His family built a railroad connecting the inland to the shore, sparking the birth of a seaside community. By 1901, the first inn welcomed visitors, and a contest soon gave the area its name, inspired by the local wax myrtle shrubs. Myrtle Beach stands as a symbol of resilience, a place reborn from quiet beginnings into a vibrant hub of life and leisure. Is Myrtle Beach on your travel list now? Leave a 1 if you've been there, or a 2 if it just jumped to the top of your must-see spots. Lake Murray is a vast man-made reservoir covering roughly 50,000 acres in South Carolina. Created in the late 1920s by damming the Saluda River, its Dreher Shoals Dam was the world's largest earthen dam at completion. The dam stretches 1.5 miles long and stands 220 feet tall, built using local red clay and bedrock coal. Engineer William S. Murray led the project, envisioning a hydroelectric system to power much of the state. Before the lake existed, the Saluda River Valley was home to thousands of German and Swiss settlers dating back to the mid-1700s. To build the lake, about 1,100 parcels of land and over 2,300 graves were relocated. During the Revolutionary War, ferries like Weiss's Ferry played a crucial role in moving troops across the river. In the 1940s, several B-25 bombers crashed into Lake Murray during training, with one recovered decades later and preserved in a museum. Lake Murray is a popular spot for boating, fishing, and relaxation, blending history with outdoor enjoyment. Boiling Springs started around natural bubbling springs that attracted early settlers looking for a peaceful place to live. The springs are now part of Gardner-Webb University, where history and nature come together. Visitors can explore old buildings like E.B. Hamrick Hall and the Irvin Hamrick Log House, which are protected as historic sites. The town grew slowly around a boarding school opened in the early 1900s, which later became Gardner-Webb University. Boiling Springs is a calm place, perfect for travelers who want to enjoy history and nature without crowds. Local events celebrate the town's traditions and give visitors a chance to experience real Southern culture. Walking through the town, you can feel the connection between its past and today. Boiling Springs is a great spot for anyone wanting to visit a peaceful town full of history and warm Southern hospitality. We gather info from many places. If you see something wrong or have more to share, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. St. Michael's is Charleston's oldest standing religious building, completed between 1751 and 1761 on the site of an earlier church. Its white stuccoed brick walls and two-story Tuscan columned portico reflect classic colonial architecture. George Washington worshipped here in 1791, occupying pew number 43, which remains preserved today. During the Civil War in 1865, cannon fire damaged the north wall, revealing where a window was later installed. St. Michael's Churchyard is the resting place of two U.S. Constitution signers, adding to its historical significance. The church represents more than faith. It is a record of Charleston's colonial, revolutionary, and Civil War eras. Through wars and peace, St. Michael's has stood as a symbol of endurance and heritage. In 1941, a massive project flooded thousands of acres to create South Carolina's largest lake. Lake Marion covers over 110,000 acres, formed to supply hydroelectric power and jobs during the Great Depression. Because World War II accelerated the project, the lake was filled before the area was fully cleared, leaving thousands of tree stumps submerged. These underwater trunks provide crucial habitats for fish like crappie, catfish, and bluegill. A 6.5-mile canal links Lake Marion to Lake Moultrie, creating sheltered waters ideal for fishing and boating. Few people realize the spark that lit the Civil War was struck right here. In February 1865, Columbia was set ablaze during the final months of the Civil War, and much of the city center was left in ashes. Union troops marched in just after midnight, and by dawn the skyline glowed red with fire. Over two-thirds of the city's commercial district was destroyed, including government buildings and churches. Historians still debate who gave the order, but the damage was real and left a permanent mark on Columbia's story. What rose from the rubble was a state capital determined to rebuild, using brick and grit instead of sorrow. Today, Columbia's layout still reflects its post-war design, with wide boulevards that were planned to slow the spread of fire. At the heart of the city stands the South Carolina State House, where bronze stars mark spots hit by Union cannon fire. Nearby, preserved antebellum homes and faded mills hint at the city's past as a center of politics and cotton processing. Columbia isn't just a place that survived history. It shaped it and quietly rebuilt itself into the heart of modern South Carolina. Charleston's harbor wasn't just a gateway to trade. It was the entry point for nearly 200,000 enslaved Africans brought to America. By the mid-1700s, this single city handled almost half of all slave imports into the United States. The market buildings still stand today, where auction blocks were placed not far from where tourists now sip sweet tea. Charleston became wealthy from rice, indigo, and cotton, industries that depended entirely on enslaved labor. Its streets were laid out by enslaved people, its bricks shaped by hands that had no freedom. In 2018, the city formally apologized for its role in the slave trade, one of the first cities in the South to do so. Charleston now works to preserve African American landmarks and Gullah heritage, especially in neighborhoods once ignored. Museums and walking tours now highlight not just grand mansions, but the painful legacy woven through the city's beauty. By facing its history openly, Charleston has become more than just picturesque. It's a living archive of pain, perseverance, and the power of memory. In the heat of the American Revolution, Greenville's earliest plantation was reduced to ashes, a retaliation against loyalty to the British crown. But from those ashes, a city slowly rose, one built by bold settlers, cotton mill workers, and dreamers with shovels and railroads. In the late 1700s, a man named Richard Paris received over 100,000 acres from the Cherokee, forging an unlikely alliance that would shape the land's future. Years later, Vartry McBee, often called the father of Greenville, donated land for schools, churches, and the city's first cotton mill, turning it from a quiet village into a rising southern hub. By the 1850s, the sound of train whistles echoed through the hills as Greenville linked itself to Columbia by rail and became a popular summer retreat. Then came the mills, dozens of them, spinning cotton into fortunes and earning the town the nickname Textile Center of the South. Even when war, strikes, and economic collapse followed, the people of Greenville kept building, kept believing, never letting go of the idea that this place could be more. Today, the past still lingers in its brick warehouses, quiet riverbanks, and tree-lined streets, silent witnesses to a town that's never stopped transforming. For hundreds of years, the Sioux tribe lived and fished along Shem Creek long before settlers arrived. In the late 1600s, English colonists turned this waterway into a busy harbor for shipbuilding and rice farming. During the Civil War, the creek became a secret path for Confederate ships to move supplies and avoid Union forces. The creek's waters have fed generations of shrimpers who start their work before sunrise every day. In the 1900s, shrimp boats filled the docks, bringing fresh seafood to markets and restaurants nearby. Today, old fish houses have been transformed into lively seafood restaurants and shops for visitors. On a calm afternoon, you might see fishermen heading out to sea or pelicans diving for fish nearby. Shem Creek is more than just a place to visit. It is a living story of a community shaped by the water around it. Ashley River is a blackwater tidal river flowing through the swampy lands of western Berkeley County, South Carolina. It begins at the Wassamasaw and Great Cypress swamps before merging near Somerville. The river widens into a tidal estuary south of Fort Dorchester, running about 17 miles along North Charleston's historic banks. Ashley River meets the Cooper River near Charleston's Battery, forming Charleston Harbor. Named after Anthony Ashley Cooper, the first Earl of Shaftesbury and Carolina's chief Lord Proprietor, the river carries deep colonial history. In the 18th century, plantations grew rice, indigo, and cotton along the river's edge, shaping the economy and culture. Today, nearby historic sites preserve the river's story and its impact on South Carolina's heritage. Lake Jocassee, nestled in South Carolina's Blue Ridge Mountains, means place of the lost one. According to legend, a Cherokee maiden once walked across its waters to meet her lost love. Long ago, two rival tribes lived on opposite sides of the Whitewater River. A green bird warrior was wounded and secretly cared for by Jocassee, the daughter of the Brown Viper's chief. They fell in love, but tragedy struck when her brother killed the warrior and brought back his head. Heartbroken, Jocassee walked into the lake and, as the story goes, never sank. Today, Lake Jocassee remains a place of quiet beauty and timeless legend. From a dirt crossroads to the heart of a county, Gaffney was born out of one man's journey. In 1704, Irish immigrant Michael Gaffney set up a small inn and tavern where two major roads met in the South Carolina upcountry. By the late 1800s, it had grown into Gaffney City, and in 1897, it officially became the seat of the newly formed Cherokee County. With the rise of the textile industry, Gaffney thrived, its mills buzzing with life and its economy woven together with cotton and labor. Gaffney isn't flashy, but it tells a powerful American story of immigration, hard work, and a place that refuses to disappear. Isle of Palms was once home to the Seawee people, who lived off the sea and the land. Legend says some of them tried to paddle across the ocean to England in canoes, but they vanished. In the 1700s, pirates may have buried treasure on the island, though none has ever been found. During the American Revolution, British troops failed to cross the waters nearby, stopped by strong currents and local defenders. Today, Isle of Palms welcomes visitors with soft beaches, sea turtles, and stories as deep as the ocean. Spartanburg was named after the Spartan Regiment, a local militia that fought in the American Revolutionary War. Founded in 1785, Spartanburg quickly became a crossroads for railroad lines, earning its nickname, the Hub City. These mills built not just factories but entire neighborhoods for workers, creating a strong community. As the textile industry declined in the mid-20th century, Spartanburg shifted towards education and healthcare. Now, the city is home to several universities and remains proud of its history as a hub of courage and industry. Abbeville was founded by French Huguenots in 1764 and named after a town in France. In 1860, a meeting at Secession Hill in Abbeville started South Carolina's secession from the United States. This made South Carolina the first state to leave the Union, sparking the Civil War. Nearly 5 years later, Confederate President Jefferson Davis met here to accept the end of the Confederacy. The town's quiet streets and historic buildings remind visitors of its deep role in American history. Hilton Head Island, part of South Carolina's Low Country, is a treasure of untouched coastal landscapes and rich culture. Here, marshes and wetlands meet endless sandy shores, creating a habitat where dolphins play and herons hunt at dawn. The island's natural environment invites visitors to slow down and breathe deeply, letting the sound of waves and chirping birds soothe the soul. But this island holds more than just beauty. It's home to the Gullah people, descendants of enslaved Africans who kept their language, stories, and traditions alive for generations. Their courage and culture still pulse in the local art, food, and festivals that celebrate freedom and resilience. Seafood lovers find fresh shrimp, blue crab, and oysters harvested daily, connecting nature's gifts with local flavor. Shopping here blends modern boutiques with historic villages, offering handcrafted treasures tied to the island's roots. Beaufort is one of the oldest towns in South Carolina, and you can feel its history in every brick and tree. It was founded in 1711, and many of its buildings from the 1700s still stand today. The streets are lined with old oak trees, and the houses have wide porches made for sitting and watching the world go by. During the Civil War, Union troops took control of Beaufort early on, turning it into a place of hope for people seeking freedom. Even after the war, the town stayed strong, shifting from plantations to fishing, farming, and later tourism. Its old churches, quiet graveyards, and simple museums tell stories that still matter today. Every summer, the Beaufort Water Festival brings the community together with music, food, and laughter. You can walk down by the harbor, watch the boats, and picture what life was like here 200 years ago. Beaufort is small, but its story is big, and it welcomes everyone who wants to listen. Reedy River Falls, right in the heart of Greenville, is a place where nature and city life come together in perfect balance. Its centerpiece is the Liberty Bridge, a stunning curved walkway that seems to float over the waterfall below. Unlike any other bridge in the country, it's suspended by cables on just one side, giving visitors a wide-open view of the cascading water. Below, the Reedy River flows through a peaceful park filled with flowers, walking paths, and sculptures. Parts of an 18th century grist mill still remain, connecting the present to the city's earliest days. Locals come here to relax, read, and enjoy summer plays under the open sky. The Murrells Island Lighthouse has faced war, hurricanes, erosion, and time itself, but it still stands. Built in 1876, this towering brick lighthouse was once surrounded by homes and barracks on Murrells Island. But when engineers built jetties to protect Charleston Harbor, ocean currents changed and the island slowly washed away. By the 1930s, the sea reached the lighthouse's base. By the 1960s, it was completely surrounded by water. Still, the lighthouse never fell, and thanks to passionate locals, it never will. Volunteers raised money to stabilize it, of building strong foundations beneath the waves. Bohicket Creek once served as a trade route for rice and timber during colonial times, but now stands as a vibrant salt marsh ecosystem. Nestled between Johns Island and Kiawah Island, it is a tidal creek rich with wildlife and native plants. Bottlenose dolphins often surface nearby, sharing the waters with migrating birds and fish species. Spring and fall bring mild weather perfect for kayaking, paddleboarding, and sailing adventures here. St. Philip's Church, completed in 1836, with its iconic spire finished by 1850, showcases the Wren Gibbs architectural style prominent in colonial America. Its three Tuscan pedimented porticos contribute to a balanced and refined exterior that reflects 19th century ecclesiastical design sophistication. Established in 1680, the congregation is the oldest European American religious group in South Carolina, predating the current building by over a century. The original wooden church, built near present-day St. Michael's, was destroyed by a hurricane in 1710, prompting relocation and rebuilding. A devastating fire in 1835 destroyed the earlier church on Church Street, leading to the construction of the present stuccoed brick structure. Rev. Thomas Frost, rector in the late 18th century, navigated the church through Anglicanism's disestablishment after the American Revolution. St. Philip's stands as a National Historic Landmark, embodying centuries of religious, architectural, and maritime history. Little River is the oldest fishing community on South Carolina's Grand Strand, maintaining a slower, relaxed pace unlike nearby tourist hubs. Located at the confluence of the Little River and the Atlantic, the town has historically been a critical marker for tropical cyclone warnings. Its landscape features marshes, old pine forests, and centuries-old live oaks draped in Spanish moss, offering natural southern charm. Daily deep-sea fishing charters launch at sunrise, drawing anglers to rich waters in the Gulf Stream just offshore. The community hosts an annual Blue Crab Festival celebrating its seafood heritage and local maritime culture. Despite growing real estate demand, Little River has retained its identity as a working fishing village with multi-generational commercial fishermen. The town's quiet streets and fresh seafood restaurants provide a stark contrast to the bustling resorts only miles away. Little River's blend of tradition, nature, and hospitality makes it a unique coastal destination on the Grand Strand. Fort Sumter and Fort Moultrie stand guard at the entrance to Charleston Harbor. Fort Sumter is famous as the place where the first shots of the Civil War were fired in 1861. It sits on a man-made island and can only be reached by ferry, making the visit feel like stepping back in time. Just a short drive away on Sullivan's Island, Fort Moultrie played a key role in defending Charleston during the Revolutionary War. Named after Colonel William Moultrie, this fort was later updated through the 20th century to protect the coastline. Both forts are part of a National Historical Park where you can explore battle sites, museums, and stunning waterfront views. Visitors often start at Fort Moultrie by road and then take a ferry to Fort Sumter for a full experience of Charleston's military history. The Arthur Ravenel Jr. Bridge is an iconic symbol stretching over the Cooper River in Charleston. This cable-stayed bridge, opened in 2005, connects downtown Charleston to Mount Pleasant with sleek, modern design. It's one of the longest bridges of its kind in the Western Hemisphere and a favorite spot for photographers and runners. Before this bridge, Charleston had two older bridges that were famous for their narrow lanes and steep drops. The old bridges were replaced because they no longer met the needs of modern traffic and shipping. Today, the Ravenel Bridge not only moves thousands of cars daily, but also hosts events like the Cooper River Bridge Run. Walking or driving across offers breathtaking views of the Charleston skyline and harbor. It's more than just infrastructure. It's a proud part of Charleston's identity and progress. For visitors, the bridge is a reminder of how history and modern life come together in this charming city. Sumter is a small city with a big history, named after Revolutionary War hero General Thomas Sumter. Founded in the mid-1800s, it started as a plantation settlement and grew into an important center during the Civil War. Today, Sumter has evolved with diverse industries, including textiles, manufacturing, and biotech. Visitors can feel the mix of history and modern life as they explore downtown and local museums. From quiet mountain trails to sunlit island shores, South Carolina holds more than just history. It holds moments that stay with you. Each place reveals a different chapter, some bold, some tender, all part of something deeply Southern, deeply American. It's a state that doesn't rush to impress, but gently reminds you why you came. And whether it's your first visit or your fifth, something always calls you back. South Carolina doesn't just ask to be seen, it asks to be felt. Thanks for joining the journey. See you in the next adventure.